Hey guys, it's me again, back with another deck profile. This is the new deck that I've been running in ranked. I've only got 3 replays to show off, so it should all be in one video. It's just gonna be a bit of a longer video. Yeah, you'll notice that I haven't been doing daily uploads, just haven't been feeling it. Plus, like, the fact that there's new support that isn't going to get released in the DCG for a year, is annoying as hell. But, Magnifica's coming soon, and that's all that matters. Okay. Anyways, moving on to the deck profile. So this is an improvement on the pure exosister list I made a while ago. If you remember, it was that version with DPE. Video is up. You can go check that out if you want to. But a lot of the problems that I found with that deck was that, like, DPE was really good, but specifically, like, the banishers, these two, and DP conflict. I felt like I didn't have enough power going second, so that's really where I tried to change things into this deck. So starting it off, 3 Ellis, best card in the deck, or for like best main deck exosister, 100%. 1 Irene, as usual, you gotta play the brick. 3 Vadis targets, right? You want to be able to Vadis once with these two, and then Vadis twice for these two. That's generally how I use my ratios. Plus, like, I think it's probably just better to play 1 at least, because packs, targets, stuff like that. It might be worth not playing, honestly, because we are playing a lot of banishers, so oftentimes you won't end up with Irene in the graveyard. But I'm not exactly sure what I would replace it with, so yeah, maybe like an Astraltopia or something. It's a work in progress deck list, very much still. Maybe main deck the macro, I don't know. 2 Sophia, cut this down from 3 because 3 was just too bricky in my opinion. 3 is definitely still workable, probably just cut an armament for it. Yeah, next you got your 3 Stella. Again, probably the second deck, probably like unironically the third, but like the ability to special summon from hand is just so good with these two. Plus Caspatel will search the Sophia, the Irene. 2 armament, probably could cut this down to 1. I don't know though. I like having 2. I like being able to hard draw it sometimes. 3 packs, obviously just a nutty card. 2 Vadis. If you want more talk on the exosister ratios, stuff like that, go check out any of my other exosister deck profiles. I talk a lot in depth about why specifically I play these. Anyways, 2 Dinotherium, 2 Ranryu, 2 Gigabyte, and then 2 of the others. So, as you all know, the Gigabyte Ranryu loop is still extremely good. Basically, if you ram a Gigabyte into something, you can special Ranryu, ram it into something, special another Gigabyte to ram it into something, to special either an Inari, a Nefarious, or Ranryu, just depending on what you're looking for. Yeah, Dinotherium, good. Yeah, all of this stuff from like here to here where I'm kind of outlining basically these top 2 rows and then these 4, pretty standard stuff. That being said, you'll notice that I've made some changes. So 3D shifter, main decking this, it's just cracked. But that being said, why I'm main decking 3? If you all remember, I had a problem specifically with the repeatability of D-Shifter in the old deck. I was like, D-Shifter is a one and done card, it's kind of useless, you use it once, it's dead, and I don't like that. So that is why I'm playing a Snow. Not to mention Snow is just generally good. I'll get into Snow in a few seconds, how I'll get into Pancatops when we're going to talk about these side deck cards. I'm sure to talk about the banishers. 3 Retaliating Sea. This card is growing on me because, like, if your opponent activates Fusion Destiny, you're just like, okay, chain link 2 Retaliating Sea, and then suddenly they have no Dasher, no Celestial. If your opponent is like Armament, they basically have to lose a card because they can't go, or not Armament. What's it? The Rights, that's the name of it. If your opponent goes Rights of Armies, or not Armament, obviously, you can just chain this card, you get rid of the Armament, and then they have to go, like, normal something, search Draco back, or, or they lose a card, basically, because Draco back is the only convincing out of this. 3 Infirm, considering taking this out for a droll, But the problem is that Droll conflicts with these two really hard because you have to send to the graveyard, and you can't activate D-Shifter and Droll in the same turn. That being said, D-Shifter or Impermanent Retaliating Sea conflict because you have to control no cards. So maybe like an Ogre package is what I was thinking. That might be the wave. And then 3 Ash, obviously just a genetically good hand trap. Now, you got your 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Call by the Grave, hand traps, and back row, respectively. Pankratops. So Pankratops is good for going second, obviously. I've really enjoyed just how it works. There have been multiple games where I was like, yeah, Pank is just killing it. If you have to, it's just like he is a closer, and he's never a card that you're unhappy to top deck. And then Snow. So Snow was a big focus of this deck, actually, because I realized a few things. One, it is a spellcaster, which means that the Gigabyte Ranview, all these 6, are online when you normal summon Snow. 2, Snow allows you to get multiple procs of D-Shifter, because you could banish everything from your graveyard, special summon Snow. And 3, it's really fucking good interruption, because you can just with the amount of stuff you can turbo out with Vadis, that's 2 free cards, right? 3 basically, because you have the Vadis and then the 2 Exosisters if they don't trigger. And if they do trigger, then if you you're still winning, right? So there's that. She's also just very good in these sort of complicated game states. It should be noted that I was playing a Foolish Burial instead of the Pankratops, but I ended up changing up some stuff in the extra deck. Because I felt like the Foolish wasn't going to get me very far, especially when I'm playing these 6 cards specifically. I felt like I'd rather have the Snow in hand. And for that reason, I'm playing 2 Line of the Light Charmer Lustrous. If this Link Summon card is destroyed by battle or destroyed by an opponent's card effect while in its owner's monster zone, you can add 1 Light Monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand, which is Fairy Tail Snow. The reason that I'm specifically playing Lina as well is it does not require Lina to go to the graveyard. So that's why. The reason that I'm playing 2 Lina is for the Lina Selene access code. This almost never comes up. I'm unironically considering cutting it. I feel like it's so bad making these. I don't know. Maybe it's like Lina Selene that's maybe it'd be more worthwhile, but I feel like Nightmare Unicorn is probably more worth, honestly. That might just be me. Notable things that you'll notice out of the main deck that aren't there. I would love to play a Gozen match, but I feel like it's just not good enough, especially with the amount of different attributes we have. There might be a future for a Tikaboo setup, but that would take. I think that's probably a bit hard with all of the warriors. A few things that I actually considered in this deck. With something like DD Sprite. DD Sprite allows you to banish a card special itself. It's a level 1 tuner. So I was maybe there's some fancy level 5 plays. I couldn't think of anything that was worthwhile though. If you guys think of something, make sure to let me know in the comments. Going on to the extra deck, 2 Sophiel for the grind game, 1 Gibberine, 2 Caspatel, 2 Mikalace. The third Mikalace was replaced by this Lina. So yeah. Yeah, you play a third Mikalace, obviously, but I think these are probably the ideal ratios. Maybe if you want to cut something, cut that off, Sophiel. Yeah. Other than that, these are pretty standard extra deck ratios. Yeah. Obviously, you got your 1 Zeus for, just running over something and slapping a Zeus. Gaga Magician for Utopic Draco future setups. This is a card that I want to make a video on later, because I think it might still be worth considering post Magnifica, but whatever. For the side deck, you've got the 6 classics that I put in pretty much every side deck. Evenly Dark Ruler. Just so cracked. For going first, you have Macro and then 3 Solemn Judgments. Not a fan of these, honestly. I'm considering swapping them out for a Die-Fi or another Banish card. Yeah. You got the Red Reboot for back row. And then the Cosmic Cyclone, and then Drolls, which you'd swap out for the Ashes or the Retaliatings, just depending on the matchup. Usually swap them out for the Retaliatings if the matchup is if they're searching a lot, they're not using a lot of spell cards to special summon, I swap them out for Droll. Yeah, so the idea behind this deck, getting into a bit of the theory, was that instead of the DPE and playing for the grind game, I'm basically going to play this sort of hard, aggressive, harder, more mid-range style, right? Where the idea is If you're playing out of the graveyard, you're triggering the exosisters. If not, we can just win off these macrocosmoses. This obviously causes for like a lot worse matchup against like Flunder specifically, obviously, which this deck has a big fucking problem against. But I think that with this many normal summons in the deck can get around like the barrier statues and stuff, so it should be okay. Not to mention, this deck doesn't really beat Flunder anyways. Like, Flunder doesn't play out of their graveyard, so like we lose that matchup anyways. Yeah. I think that's about it though. Yeah, that's about it. If you guys do have anything, make sure to let me know. I'm really a big fan of Snow though. I think it's probably the wave, honestly. At least until we get the Malfa support. So yeah. Anyways, how long was this? This has been a 10-minute. So I'm just gonna run it with one replay, and then I'll probably save 2 replays for later. This is just a quick sample test game. Let me mute the audio. Okay, so game 1, you can see we opened the Snow, the Ranryu, 2 packs, and Retaliating Sea. So if they do activate a spell card, we have our macro online. They're gonna go Marionetter, which is a problem because that means that our Retaliating Sea is now dead in our hand. They're going to go the Duality, and then add the Personal Spoofing, and then probably, I assumed this was a Personal Spoofing set. In draw phase, then they're going to see, and then they're going to think, and then I'm going to go main 1, normal Snow, try to set, because if it's normal or special, the fact that they add the Mario back just telegraphs to me, I'm like, okay, they already have Faker. They're going to activate Faker. Faker effect is special the Silcoidus. And then I'm going to special the Ranryu because they don't activate the Silcoidus effect. Going to go into Mikalace. And they will let it go. So we're going to add the Vaudis. And then Pax to grab an Ellis. And then special summon the Ellis. This was just trying to bait out literally anything. I was hoping he'd be like, oh, no Exosisters on the field, can't special. On attack declaration, he's going to Kunk, which is unfortunate because that means we get no Zeus. And that means that we get no Ellis effect. Also, I didn't use an Exosister material, so I can't banish, which is also extremely unfortunate because this Silcoidus is going to put in some work. So here I'm going to link summon Lina, just to kind of see if I can force anything out, but it doesn't. Plus, like, this Exosister is dead on the field. Mikalace is doing nothing. Might as well have something that's sort of gaining me advantage if my opponent doesn't play it correctly. He's going to bounce the packs. He's going to bounce the Arment. Maybe he should have kept the Exosister on field for that, Also could have shotgunned the Vaudis. Probably a misplay in hindsight going for the Lina. But the other problem is that you can't Arment into Mikalace while you have Mikalace on the field. And I don't feel like there's a very good guarantee of Altergeist playing out of their graveyard, so 50-50. And then he's going to Raigeki me. Going to Line effect. He's going to negate it. And then he's going to go Hexia. And then Marionetter. And then on res, I'm going to Snow, banish the dead Retaliating Sea, doing nothing, special the Snow, and then set the Mario. Probably a bad idea to not banish the Ranryu. Probably should have kept the Stella, but I don't think it really matters. It's going to Raigeki me. Then I'm going to take 15. D-Shifter, unfortunately, is dead because I can't Snow, so I'm going to try to. I want to try to get as much value as possible. I'm going to end up scooping it up here, I think, soon, but we'll see. Yeah, so I'm going to go special Ellis, and then I probably should have played that out. Maybe go for an Arment play, but he just kind of Silk bounces. Maybe I should just hope that he went Silk Bounce at the end phase, Chain Arment, and then hope that I have enough material for Snow. But game 2, I'm gonna go first. Normal Stella special Jigabite overlay into Mikalace, grab the Arment, and we're gaming. Set 3, worried about a Harpy's Feather Duster, which he does have, and then Arment. So, and then I'm gonna go Osophiel, and then he's going to grab the 6, and he finds the Raigeki. This card going to 3 was a mistake, that's all I'm going to say. And then he's just going to Raigeki me. Yeah, so this is just a very unfortunate situation. Gonna normal Dinotherium to try to get rid of the card on field, and he has the Conqueror in hand, which means that he wins the game because I have no way to clear anything in his field. Yep, so that was game 1. That was first game. It's a showcase of what happens if our banish cards aren't online. Like, our exosister cards are good, and like Snow is very clutch, but like it just doesn't allow us to compete with anything that has any sort of grind game. Moving on to the game number 2. So you see this is the Foolish that I replaced with Pankratops. You can see why it comes in handy, right? Because it is a card for Snow, and it does get Snow into the graveyard. Got a normal Stella. This was a sequencing error. I should have Dinotherium first and then activated Foolish Burial. Yeah. And then I'm going to go Mikalace. He's going to chain Ogre. I'm going to grab the Vadis, and then I'm going to set 2 and pass. He's going to go Foolish, set the Aquamancer. I didn't want to go for it here, right, the Vadis here, because like if he doesn't go Aquamancer, then he doesn't add the, what's the name? The Rights, right? And so then the Rights is how I'm getting the Retaliating Sea in my Macro Cosmos online. So I'm going to go, when he does Rights, I'm going to go Macro. He has the Griffin Rider in hand. Need to go Draco back. Draco back effect to bounce. So here I'm going to chain the Vadis, so that I can chain the Imperm if he does Draco back negate, and not sure why I didn't there. Definitely seems like a bit of a misplay, at the very least. Yeah. Yeah, not sure why I didn't Imperm there. He's going to bounce the Imperm with Vishuda, and then he's going to go Howk. I will Imperm that. And then normal summon Dinotherium, beat over the Adhara. And then he's going to go Shooting Riser for the Aquamancer. Aquamancer for Rights. And then he's going to grab the Griffin Rider, pitch the Ashuna, and then special the Griffin Rider. Then he's going to go Adhara, grab a Vishuda, and then Vishuda bounce. So I was thinking here, and I was like, yeah, there's a way that he won't have lethal, and so that was the way that I was doing it. I went boom, 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 7, and then so I'm gonna go Snow onto the Griffin Rider so that he has to negate it, and it gets off the field. Also, this way that the Ghost Ogre doesn't because if I used it on like this, then he could just well, no, if he Ghost Ogred, it would still be set, so yeah, it's fine. Then he's going to go into the Shanglong, but I draw only the Ranryu, and I don't have any of the Gigabytes in graveyard, or anything special off of it, so there's no point. So we're going to normal the Irene, and then special summon these two, go for Caspatel. He's going to Imperm, and I've got Ellis in hand, which is the punish, and then I'm going to go Mikalace. He's going to Ash that. I'm going to call by because I really need this Vadis. And then I'm going to go Utopic Draco Future, because Utopic Draco Future will protect me from any hand traps next turn that isn't specifically Imperm. So yeah, you can see that his hand wasn't that great that time, just didn't have it. And so this time, I opened the nuts. He's got a good hand, but I have D-Shifter and Retaliating Sea and evenly matched. I would like maybe another engine card, but it is what it is. He's gonna go Armiser. So the reason that you don't shotgun D-Shifter here is because you want to try to force him to use the Draco back to bounce the Retaliating Sea, since he can't beat over in battle phase, which means that you can then D-Shifter after he bounces it. Instead, he's going to go Vishuda and Griffin Rider both special summon. And then he's going to add the Draco back. And then he's going to add the Water Enchantress, pitch the Red Rose Dragon, and then on res of the water or the Draco back, I'm gonna use the D shifter. This way, that I just kind of hope that he isn't able to get more Omni negates. Basically, just trying to force him out while I can. He's gonna go for the normal combo lines. You've probably seen this if you've been playing in this format. Basically, the Yazi Taya stuff. So the goal here is to force out the Omni, and Imperm is a cracked draw because it means that I can now evenly matched with no worries. Gonna go evenly matched, but before the end of the battle phase, he's gonna Basil Rose to bring back the Rocks Rose to get another Red Rose. And then I will end phase evenly matched. He's gonna keep the Chijiao since it hasn't been spent. And then I'm just gonna grab the Armament because there's no point in grabbing anything else right now. You know, it's not live, so yeah. He's gonna go Aquamancer, that's okay. Gonna go Aramizer, gonna chain the Retaliating Sea. It's really good here because this means that the macro is online. And then on res, I'm gonna flip the Vadis, trying to basically if he goes here, he can't so basically right. The idea is that if he wants to negate it, he has to use the Chijiao effect. I probably should have changed this to Retaliating Sea, honestly. So basically the idea is that he has to banish something with Chijiao effect, which triggers both the Exosisters to get rid of the Retaliating Sea. Or stop it from activating. He's going to normal summon. On normal summon, I'm going to overlay to Mikalace to try to banish the Red Rose Dragon so that it can't get any effect in the graveyard. Basically, the idea here is once I get into Asophiel, I win the game, because then he cannot activate Ashuna or Vishuda. And so if I banish, I probably should have targeted the token, honestly, that way these wouldn't have been live anyways, right? But I was just like, he can't Synchro Summon, and so if he can't Synchro Summon, he's probably dead. But probably a better idea to go after token in hindsight. So if I go banish this, he's going to Chijiao negate, and then Sophia will trigger, which allows me to go into Asophiel, which allows me to go graveyard, no graveyard stuff. He's then going to go battle phase, crash, and crash. And then I'm going to draw D Shifter, which is a dead draw. Draw Ash. Probably should have set the Ash, but I was just kind of worried that he'd have something that needed to be Ashed, like his desires. E-Tail, you can Ash for that. And he normal summons Mo Yi, so I don't have anything to win the game with there, because he just beats over Ellis, and that's game. D Shifter was unfortunately not a great draw. There might have been a way to win that, but I think it's just I made too many misplays when it came to the what's it called? The Vadis targeting, or the Mikalace targeting. I think I probably should have either Mikalace targeted the token or targeted the Chijiao. Anyways, third and final game. So starting off, pretty heavy Exosister hand. Going to Irene, put back the Armament, draw Snow. Gonna go Mikalace out of packs. This way I can then go packs to special and get the Sophia draw. Sophia's gonna draw into an Armament. Pretty good because I already put the other one on the bottom. That's why you play two, in case you need to put one on the bottom and something comes up. Gonna banish 6 for Prosperity, and then I see it's invoked. Yeah, so they're gonna grab the Naduvir Servant. And then here probably should Armament on res, but yeah, I probably should Armament on res on the Mikalace, making it into Asophiel, but I could always just wait. Yeah, I have a Call by the Grave anyways, right? So it doesn't matter if I Armament or not, because if they go send Apka and then Apka effect, I just chain Call by the Grave. So yeah, probably a good idea to hold the Armament. Then he's gonna go Meltdown, add Alistair, normal summon Alistair. And then I do have a light monster in my graveyard. And so yeah, he's gonna trigger the Makaba, And so I can't trigger the Sophia on res here because of how Meltdown works, right? Because I can't, your opponent cannot get rid of a monster when fusion. When a monster fuses, alright, yeah. Fuck this card, by the way. Yeah. So, then he's going to activate Invocation. I will chain Vadis to that, and then special summon these two. Special summon these two because I don't want to special summon the Sophia, because one, the Irene's already been used, and two, it would, this way I get 3 triggers of the exosister, not just 1. He's going to let all 3 of these go, for some reason, which you probably already saw it if you were paying close attention, but I'm going to go Exosister effect, which is Dweller, and then he's going to pitch 1, 2, 3, and 4. Probably pitching the Alistair was a mistake there. I don't see why you need to negate this Mikalace at all, but yeah. Then they're going to go Nadir Servant, Abka, Banish, and then, yeah, so the Maximus is a bad grab because I don't have anything in the graveyard for it because of the Call by the Grave. And then, so here, I maybe could have activated Arment in the end phase, but I just didn't think there was any targets worth going into. You know, I could have gone Gibrine into, what's it called? The, God damn it. The Caspitel. And I just didn't think that was worth it, because, as you will see, I was just going to go into the Topo Draco Future, and then I can make the Caspitel with these two, or I can make another Mikalace. I actually end up making the Lina here, right, because then I can Lina take Nib, which forces my opponent to either Alistair or Kaba negate, because then I can go Lina plus Nib into Selene into access code. And that's game. Well, it's not actually game because I would only have light monsters in my graveyard, but just the amount of card advantage I had was, I think, game, because I have Vadis Arment. So this game, hopefully, I'll get to show off the power of the banishes. I believe this is a pretty good game for it. But they're going to go normal summon Alistair, activate Invocation, and then I'm like on res of the Alistair effect. Right, I'm going to then activate D-Shifter, so that way if they want to link or if they want to go for Invocation or something, they can. So then I'm going to go overlay these two into the Caspitel effect, add the Ellis, and then Sophia effect, draw 1, draw into the Irene, big brick. They're going to chain Tikaboo to the Ellis effect, so that means it's going to get summoned and then automatically go to the... Actually, pretty sure Ellis should have stayed in hand there. No. Yeah, because the Ellis effect has already been activated and resolved, yeah, so Ellis would get special summoned in Chainlink 1 after Tikaboo is resolved, Chainlink 2, and then immediately we go to the graveyard. But in this state, it's the banish pile. Beat over the Alistair, and then Sophia attack. Then I'm going to set the Arment after overlaying into Zeus. You're going to Droplet, sending the Invocation to get the Alistair back. And then on res, here I can Sophia for the Mikalace. He's going to normal the Alistair, and then on res, banish the Alistair, because I basically know he doesn't have a second in hand, because otherwise why wouldn't you already normal summoned it, right? You can see he doesn't. He has 2 Invocations and the Celestial and a Droplet. Unfortunately here, can't use... I could, like... I'm in a weird spot, right? Because I can't use the Arment because all of the extra deck exosister monsters are warriors, and I don't want to use Zeus because that means that I don't get my Caspitel trigger. D-Shifter isn't a great draw, unfortunately, but, you know, it'll do. Then here, I'm just going to go battle phase, and then I'm going to set the Vadis and pass. It's going to go terraforming for Meltdown, activate Meltdown, get another Alistair. And so basically, I was like, I don't want to get another Alistair, so I'm going to go Vadis Chainlink 1, Zeus Chainlink 2. Zeus wipes the board as Chainlink 2, but then the Vadis resolves, allowing me to special summon 2 Exosister monsters from the deck. This way I'm also not affected by the what's it called? This way my Vadis isn't affected by the Zeus, basically. So he's going to go there, negate the 2 exosisters, invocation to grab back the Alistair, normal Alistair, and then he's going to activate the invocation after linking these 2 off. When he does activate the invocation, though, I can then activate the retaliating C. Battle phase is going to beat over the exosisters. They should have not gone to the graveyard. They should have been banished because of retaliating C. But you know, that's a side note, obviously. So here, what you do is you would then, you normal summon these 2. Rand view attack over the Secure Garden, the Zeus attack over the Mechaba, and then these 2 are lethal. You also could go for like a Lina with retaliating and Irene, or like retaliating and Zeus to get Snow in the graveyard. Remember that second effect of Zeus, by the way. Anyways, that's all it's for me. Sorry about the speed run VOD reviews. I just wanted to get some gameplay out there with this new deck. I think it's a lot better than the other Exosister version I had. Yeah. Anyways, have a good day, guys. Goodbye.